There's a paradox that Krishnamurti returns to again and again. Why is it that, despite all the teachings, the philosophies, the spiritual systems, and psychological methods, we remain fundamentally unchanged? And what is that? We hear the words, we understand the logic, we even agree with the analysis, and yet, our conditioning persists. Krishnamurti pointed to something radical. That transformation does not happen through knowledge. It does not happen through explanations, nor through systems of belief, nor through effort. And this is the foundation of one of his most challenging ideas. That the very attempt to become something psychologically, to grow, to evolve, to be better, is itself the trap. We try to become spiritual. We try to become wise. We identify with ideas, beliefs, past experiences. We seek authority in the form of religion, psychology, tradition, and in doing so, we only reinforce the self, the separateness, the division. So Krishnamurti asked, if someone is trapped in this movement of psychological becoming, whether they even understand it intellectually but still can't leave it, how do you help them? He was clear. Words, explanations, logic, even the most refined analysis, don't reach far enough. They operate within the same structure that created the problem. In other words, the person listening isn't truly listening. They're filtering, they're defending, they're interpreting. So the very act of trying to explain may deepen the illusion rather than dissolve it. This brings him to a key question. Is there a different mode of communication? Something beyond the verbal, beyond the analytical? Can there be a kind of contact that reaches beyond the defenses of thought? He believed there must be. He wasn't talking about mysticism or magic, but about a quality of presence that doesn't rely on persuasion or technique. A kind of communication that does not divide the speaker from the listener. He gave examples. People go to spiritual teachers, to saints, or visit ancient churches, and in the atmosphere of those places, or the silent presence of those people, they feel temporarily quiet. They say their problems vanish. They feel peace. This, Krishnamurti warned, is a false resolution. It's peace induced from the outside. It's atmospheric, it's suggestive, and when the person leaves the presence, the noise returns. Why? Because nothing essential has changed. This, he says, is no different from the effect of incense or a beautiful cathedral. It's a momentary sedation, not a transformation. So again he asks, what truly breaks through the conditioned mind? And slowly, dangerously, he arrives at the word most people dismiss or misuse, love. But for Krishnamurti, love had nothing to do with sentiment, nothing to do with romance, or even with morality. It was not an emotion. It was not something cultivated or taught. And most importantly, it was not separate from intelligence. He saw love as an energy, an attention, that sees without distortion, an intelligence that cares deeply but does not interfere, a perception that holds no self-interest. And here is the turning point. If someone is truly in this state of love and intelligence, can that reach another person who is trapped in confusion and fear? Can that presence alone, without argument, without authority, awaken something in the other? Because if it cannot, then the human condition may be beyond redemption. If attention, love, intelligence cannot reach another, then all that's left is imitation, belief, or the external machinery of discipline. That is why humanity has invented saviors. Jesus, Buddha, Krishna. Not necessarily as historical figures, but as projections, as symbols of unreachable perfection who will love us and carry us to transformation. But this projection too becomes part of the illusion. Because now, love is something outside of us, something given to us, something we must receive from another. And Krishnamurti saw the danger in that. He asked, is love truly something outside of you? Can it be given, transferred, awakened in you by another person? Or is it only found by dissolving the very illusion that seeks it? Can love emerge only when the self, the seeker, the effort to become, falls silent? He concluded, unflinchingly. If I am suffering, trapped in anxiety, caught in illusion, then love is not something waiting inside that suffering. not as a hidden seed, not as an unconscious purity, not as a spark of divine light. No, he said, obviously not, can't be, because even that idea would be a subtle continuation of hope. A trick of the mind trying to hold on to something, trying to become. So what are we left with? Only the silence of that realization. Only the absence of becoming. Only the profound awareness that as long as we are trying to change, we remain unchanged. And perhaps in that very stillness, when we stop searching, stop trying, stop becoming, something entirely new begins. Not through effort, not through learning, not even through intention, but through an intelligence that is inseparable from love, and a love that is not given, not earned, but simply is, once the self no longer stands in the way.